to Mr. David Barber. By the order of the Superintendent of the Oregon State Police, your amateur unarmed combat license is hereby immediately suspended for 180 days. Starting from the date this notice is served to you, effective immediately. You may not participate in unarmed combat sports contests for 180-day period. The classification of the suspension is an administrative suspension for conduct and only affects your Oregon unarmed combat sports license. On March 8, 2025, Mr. Barber participated in a mixed martial arts MMA contest against Paul O'Neill with the full fucking contact fighting fucking federation. The bout was terminated early in the first round when, after an initial warning, Mr. Barber again turned his back after receiving legal strikes and fled from the action. The referee's determination was that Mr. Barber was both engaging in timidity, which is a foul, and that his conduct did not qualify as an intelligent defense. After making that determination, the bout was halted, and Mr. Barber was ruled to have lost the bout via a technical knockout. Mr. Barber immediately protested the decision and left the cage prior to the announcement of the results. When Mr. Barber left the cage, Christopher Sears, compliance specialist, followed Mr. Barber, his coaches, and the OSAC inspectors assigned to the bout to ensure Mr. Barber completed his required post-bout physical examination. As Mr. Barber made it to the location of the post-bout physical, he claimed that he would not see the ringside physician because he was fine and only got punched once in the fucking face. The inspectors informed Mr. Barber that it was not relevant to what had occurred in the bout. It is mandatory that all competitors are evaluated after their fight. Mr. Barber said he did not care. It was bullshit and fuck the doctor. At this time, it became clear that Mr. Barber was not going to be convinced by the inspectors, and Christopher Sears stepped in an attempt to persuade Mr. Barber to submit to a physical exam. Christopher Sears explained to Mr. Barber that his physical was not optional and that the consequences for refusing to submit to the exam could have significant impacts on his ability to compete in the state of Oregon for a period of time, because it was likely he would be suspended for his conduct and that his refusal to be examined, these sons of bitches, would result in an indefinite medical suspension, which is enforceable in every jurisdiction in the United States. Mr. Barber was unpersuaded by the prospect of not fighting anymore, and he continued his verbal tirade against the doctor, exclaiming over and over again, "Fuck the doctor!" Mr. Barber would continue to make profane and disparaging remarks towards other officials, including several times stating that the referee, Steve Newport, is a fucking faggot. Mr. Barber was informed that in addition to the consequences of refusing his post-bout physical, his unprofessional conduct and abusive language towards OSAC officials could lead to disciplinary consequences. Again, Mr. Barber was undeterred, claiming that he did not care if he did not fight again, and that he would go back to pushing, where no one fucks with me. When it became clear that Mr. Barber would not be persuaded and was intent on leaving without exam, Christopher Sears informed him that if he chooses to leave without seeing the doctor, he would not be allowed back in the building. Mr. Barber responded once again with a string of profanities and left the building. Mr. Barber reached out to OSAC Administrator Dave Hagan approximately 1 week after his bout to inquire about the scope of his suspension. He was told once again that the medical suspensions are nationwide and that because he refused to submit to an examination, the suspension is indefinite. Didn't they just fucking say that it was 180 days? And it only affects the fucking Oregon license? He was further advised that most likely the course of having the medical suspension lifted would be to convene the medical advisory committee and have them determine what would be required for the medical suspension to be lifted. On Friday, March 21st, 2025, Dave Hagen reached out to Dave Barber via text and advised he would soon receive an administrative suspension for his actions on March 8, 2025. Mr. Barber inquired about the medical suspension and asked if he could still fight in other states. Mr. Barber was informed he could not, and if he did, he would receive additional sanctions for his failure to adhere to a medical suspension. Mr. Barber informed Dave Hagen that if he intended to fight elsewhere or even internationally to circumvent the medical suspension, he further advised his disagreement of the sanction and informed Dave Hagen that's some fucking lying Nazi shit. Why even fight fair in America if you guys are going to give me 180 days? Don't tell me MMA has gone to groomers. I will, however, fight in another country if I have to. Giving Mr. Barber's bait and disregard for the rules and regulations of the unarmed combat sports in Oregon is continued gratuitous and profane disparagements of the U.S.A. chief officials and engaging in conduct that directly impacts the primary statutory purpose of the commission, namely protecting the health and safety of unarmed combat sports competitors. A 180-day suspension is merited. Only affects Oregon license. Now it's 180 days. Now it's indefinite? TKO! Alright, YouTube, that was absolutely the shittiest fight that I have seen in my life. That was not a TKO. I absolutely had to storm out on that referee and show equal disgrace to what happened. I absolutely had to cuss people out. There is absolutely no way in fucking hell I deserve the passive-aggressive, temporary, indefinite 180-day suspension that they gave me. And I don't give a fuck that I did what I did to represent the real that you should represent in martial arts. I do not want people thinking that if you step in the cage that every fight is going to end like that for you. There were people coming downstairs bloodied up, fucked over. There are people who got their faces pounded into the mat repeatedly that night. Coming down the stairs into the pit backstage bleeding and shit like that. People who got knocked out flat and then they did that shit to me and then they robbed me. This shit's not over. We're going down to Rafael Cordero's training center, aka King's MMA, where there are multiple world champions, and we're going to fight back and prove that Chael Sonnen has no trauma. Okay, YouTube, I'm pissed off. We're now here in LA. After how that last fight fucking went, I'm headed over to get some stuff for my apartment where I'm living right now. Get some furniture. We are settling this. We're nearing Cordero's. This is just a little update for you guys. Stay tuned because I got some funny ass shit to upload to YouTube. I may or may not stream it. I really don't know if I'm going to stream it or not. You know, you guys, I'm just trying to make a real product for you guys. It's really fucking funny. You know, for especially the new viewer on this channel, you're gonna open this thing and go, what the fuck, with how much shit I've done. But I just I don't know. We're gonna be focusing on keeping it real and authentic and hilarious before we do anything else. We got another fight coming up, that's for sure. I may have to go international. I cussed out the fucking ref. I called that guy quite a few things. We might post the letter on YouTube, we might not. Stay tuned, guys.